Hey, morning everybody, it's Bonita here from the Trauma Recovery School and the Trauma Recovery Method. Happy Friday. So today I want to talk to you about identity and what an amazing topic it is, because identity refers to our sense of who we are as individuals and how we fit into our social structures, and the massive impact that past trauma and PTSD has on our identity. So identity shapes our experiences, our beliefs, our values, and importantly, the role that you and I play in our society. It gives us a sense of belonging, and it's extremely crucial to our well-being and our confidence. But what happens when we suffer from past trauma and PTSD? So trauma shakes the foundations of our identity. It distorts our self-image and how we perceive ourselves, and most crucially, how we perceive others. And this distortion leads to a lack of self-worth. It increases our anxiety and our insecurity. And feeling insecure or that you don't belong has massive implications. So we have 4 different identities that we need to be very aware of. It's I, me, self, and you. And each of those identities has a sub-identity. So it's like having different versions of ourselves. And these sub-identities have a physicality, a location, an age, and an experience. For example, I has a sub-identity of maybe being a student, or it's the friend, or it's the athlete, etc. But it's really important to note that our identities can be flexible and it can change depending on our situation or the people we're interacting with, etc., etc. And our self-image has a significant impact on our future actions. So it acts as like a cognitive shortcut that helps our brains make really difficult choices, and it streamlines our decision-making process. So on the other hand, it also allows us to feel part of a group or with a sense of belonging. The more we identify with a particular group, the more that group plays a really major role in shaping how we feel about ourselves. So let's go into the 4 different types of identity, and perhaps this will relate to you. So your I is your active self. It's the doer, it's the decision maker, it's the part of you that takes action. So it's the part of you that goes, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to make a decision to help me get over my past trauma and my PTSD. I am going to reach out for help. I know what I need to do. That is I. Then we have me. Me is your reflective self. It's the part of you that processes experiences and emotions. It's how you see yourself and how you believe others to see you. And it might be, for example, I feel great about myself. Me is the part of you that reflects on experiences and goes, oh, I did that really well. It increases your self-image. Then we have self. And self is your overall identity. It's the sum of your values, beliefs, experiences, and your role in society. It's how you define yourself as a person. I'm hardworking, I'm caring, I'm individual, etc., etc. And then we have you. You is how you relate to others, and it's part of your identity that shapes your interactions, your relationships with others. You know, so for example, if someone says to you, you know what, you are such a great friend, you is the part of your identity that's been recognized, being valued by someone else. So this is why it is so hugely important that you work on your identity while you are recovering from past trauma and PTSD, and why perhaps you feel so terrible about yourself while you're trying to work on this, okay? Why perhaps you don't have that self-belief to go and find someone to work with. Why you don't believe that I can recover from PTSD and trauma, because you can. You absolutely can. So what can, or what plays a part, or what could have played a part in your identity? A few things to think about. First of all is your upbringing and your family environment. That would have massive impact on shaping your identity. Perhaps your family environment now, your work environment, where you are now, it builds the world around you, and perhaps this hasn't been great. So first of all, our values and our beliefs come from our family values and beliefs, and it forms a really big part of what our identity is like. As we grow up, and our family values, how we value education, how we value our knowledge, it has massive impact. Perhaps that wasn't too positive for you. And then our behaviors and our habits. So how our family behaviors and habits have become part of who we are. So perhaps we grew up in a family that loves sport, so therefore we see ourselves as sporty and active. And then our relationships generally with our close family members shape our identity. So if that was negative, maybe that's why your identity now may be negative, or certain parts of it. You know, if you have strong supportive relationships, then, and in particular with our parents or our loved ones, our identity tends to be higher. And then lastly, our emotional environment. So our emotional environment shapes who we are. If we've grown up in an environment where we don't openly express or talk about how we feel, you're gonna feel like you can't do that. So, but if you've grown up in an environment where you've got used to talking about how you feel, brilliant. But that's the one key point that you can change. The more you start to open up and trust people, and the more you start to talk about it, the more we can improve these factors. So there are a few other factors like our cultural environment and our society, our personal choices that we've made. Sometimes we haven't made the best choices in life, but we can always leave those behind and we can move ourselves forward. And all of this has a massive bearing on how we perceive ourselves. And I think it has a massive impact on what we choose to do with what we know or what we have. Do you choose to find the right help? Do you choose to stick with it? Do you choose to recognize that this is a process and it's going to take a bit of time before we get there? So what do you feel, or how do you feel about your identity? Is it strong? Is it weak? Which part of your identity needs to be worked on? Perhaps all 4 areas are really low. Perhaps there's just one area. So this week in the Trauma Recovery Method, with the people that choose to work with me through our program, it's a 4-month program with a year's support. We have a membership vault of tried and tested tools, techniques that they use. They have contact time with me twice a week in the session. But today we are dealing with identity, and all of next week our exercises and our therapy sessions are going to be working on rebuilding and re-recognizing what their identities should be, so that they can become the best versions of themselves, so they can be unstuck, so they can move forward and live the life that they deserve, and feel like they are achieving again. If you want to know more, if you want to speak to me, then please, the way to do that would be to register for our masterclass. I will put the link in underneath this live. Watch the masterclass, register for it, and then that'll take you through an opportunity to book a call with me, and then to express or to be able to see how we could work together and make things better for you. So wonderful to see you all. Have a wonderful weekend, and I wish you all well. Bye.